think that there was always an interesting relationship between cinema and filmmaking. I think that, let's say in America, many great writers earn a living by writing screenplays. And I think that, writers like Hemingway were very much influenced by filmmaking, trying to kind of document some kind of reality much more through action and text. Action and dialogue and less through descriptions. And currently I actually think that the contemporary place where the most interesting storytelling takes part is actually in TV series. Because especially now that people can see the entire series in one sitting, and they don't have to wait every week for another episode. You really see that the structure changes. You can tell longer stories, shorter stories. You can have long episodes, short episodes. You can have anthology structured series. And myself as a writer, I feel that when I try to think about the things that affect me the most, all my life I would name, except for literature, films. But right now I would say that the most interesting thing that I saw recently were TV series like Westworld or Leftovers or those other TV series that they try to examine what does it mean to tell a story and how you can tell stories in different and new ways. So what really happened was that when I became a writer, the big change came when I became successful. So I quit my day job and I only write. And I'm a very social person, but the writing is very lonely. And then one day a film student who adapted one of my stories invited me to a set, and it was my first day on a film set. And I saw that all the things that I had to struggle with while writing a story and I had to struggle on my own, few people were doing them together. And this collaborative effect attracted me immediately, and I got back from the set and sat down and started writing my first screenplay. And this was my first day on the set. My second day on the film set was as a director. And I think that what really drew me to filmmaking was really this ability to create together with other people. Well, Israeli filmmaking tradition is kind of very realistic in nature. I think that most of the Israeli film being made, they addressed an issue. It could be a question of immigration or the conflict or living in an ultra-Orthodox society, and they're very, very much realistic and deal with the reality, the Israeli reality. It's very rare when you find filmmakers who do anything that is surrealistic or symbolic in Israeli filmmaking. As for Jewish filmmaking, I think it's so diverse and so known. The Coen brothers, or Woody Allen. I think that as a generalization, one thing that Jewish filmmaking is known for is basically some sense of humor and some kind of reflexiveness, which is something that I don't think that Israeli filmmaking has. There is a big difference between the diaspora Jewish art and the Israeli art. Well, for me, writing short stories is really almost instinctive. It's not something that I have to think about it. I think that even when I don't sit down to write a story, I tell stories all the time. I tell stories to the taxi driver, to my neighbor, Telling stories is basically a form of communication. You take a bunch of facts and find some narratives that put them together. You try to make sense of this chaos that is reality. So I think I always find myself falling back or returning to short stories just because it's not a preference. It's an instinct, it's a reflex. If you give me a paper and a pen, I will write you a story even if I don't want to. So to all the people who go to the Spanish version of Rotten Tomatoes, please give me some good marks. I don't want to find myself get many tomatoes thrown at me.